What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon so far. This is NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I want to talk about another free agent that's going to be hitting the free agent market that the New York Giants could potentially have interest in looking at as an upgrade in this offseason in terms of the offensive side of the football. I'm going to talk about a wide receiver that is still only 26 years old. He's actually going to be playing in the Super Bowl next Sunday. And he's actually put up some really good numbers over the span of his career since he was originally drafted back in 2017 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, I'm talking about JuJu Smith-Schuster. The Giants actually originally had interest in JuJu Smith-Schuster all the way back in 2021 when the team was looking at potentially signing him to a contract, but the Giants opted to go instead for Kenny Golladay, and we know how that all ended up happening. So we all know how that resulted in it. Smith-Schuster is not one of those guys that is going to beat you with elusive speed. He's not going to beat you with as a downfield threat. He's not going to be able to beat you with that quickness right after his route. What JuJu Smith-Schuster is going to beat you with is his savviness, his ability to get open in the middle of the field, and just sit down on some of those open routes and be able to just have good, sure hands in the middle of the football field. And that's exactly what JuJu Smith-Schuster has done over his career, over the span of his 6-year career in the NFL. JuJu Smith-Schuster was originally drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers back in round 2 in 2017 at pick number 62. And he played at USC for the better part of 2014 and 2016. JuJu Smith-Schuster is also a former Pro Bowler back in 2018, as we all remember, when he teamed up with Antonio Brown, and he had an absolutely phenomenal second year of his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day. He's 6'1", 215 pounds, so he's not one of those smaller wide receivers in the slot. He doesn't turn 27 until November 22nd, so he's pretty much going to be not turning 27 until he gets around his age, or until he gets around the middle of the season next year. So he's still got a lot more room to grow, and he's still essentially hitting his prime. Like I said, 6'1", 215, that's pretty big for a slot receiver. And so far, JuJu Smith-Schuster, over the span of his 7 years in the NFL, 6 years in the NFL, with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs, JuJu Smith-Schuster has pretty much put together 79 games total with 65 games started. He has 401 catches in his career with 4,788 yards altogether. He has an 11.8 yards per catch rate now, with his long being a 97-yard touchdown he scored back in 2017 and 2018. He has 29 touchdowns over his career, and he's also had 4 rushing attempts for 22 yards and 5.5 yards per rush. 13 was his long overall, and he has 1 touchdown, and he has fumbled the ball 8 times and lost 5 of them. His best season, though, came back in 2018, where he played in 16 games, started 13 of them, and he recorded 111 catches for 1,426 yards total, for 12.8 yards per catch, and 97 yards was his long, and he had 7 touchdowns. And he's had 3 seasons, or actually he's had 4 seasons in his career where he's recorded over 800 yards receiving in a single season. He's had 3 seasons where he's recorded 7+ touchdowns in his career, and he's had at least 4 seasons where he's recorded over 50 catches per season. And the only season he's really missed time due to injury, he's missed a couple of days. The only season he's really missed time due to injury for the majority of it was back in 2021 when he suffered a leg injury and he missed the entire season due to that. A shoulder injury. I like JuJu Smith-Schuster. I know everybody makes fun of him because of his TikToks that he does. He's a very big TikToker on social media. But overall, JuJu Smith-Schuster is a very good wide receiver. He just is. He's not a number 1. If he is a number 1, it's a very low-tier number 1. But he's had very good seasons as a very solid number 2. I mean, this past season with Kansas City, he played in 16 games out of 17. Started 14 of them, 78 catches, 933 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's not bad. When you're playing behind Travis Kelce, obviously it helps. Kelce is the best tight end in football, but still, other guys have got to be able to go out there and make plays, and that's exactly what JuJu Smith-Schuster has done. He's made plays. He's probably one of, if not the best, number 2 wide receiver in the NFL right now. Top of them. He's right now near the top. You could say a Jalen Waddle. You could say a Devontae Smith. You could say a T. Higgins, an Adam Thielen. There's a lot of other good number 2 wide receivers. If you want to say George Pickens, unless Deontay Johnson a number 2. There's a lot of very good number 2 wide receivers in the NFL, but I would put JuJu Smith-Schuster up there as a top number 2 wide receiver as well. He just gets open. He gets open, makes plays over the middle of the field, very sure-handed, elusive in the slot. He has a quick little extra burst. He's not going to beat you with speed over the middle of the field. He's not going to beat you with downfield quickness. But he's a solid route runner. He's a solid to good route runner over the middle of the field. And he knows how to get open in the middle of the football field. And he knows how to help out his quarterback in some of these plays over the middle of the field. And that's exactly what you need from a wide receiver like JuJu Smith-Schuster. And I believe the Giants should have interest in JuJu in free agency. He's the one guy that intrigues me the most. And I think he'd be a very good fit in this Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, if Kafka's still here as the offensive coordinator, he'd be a good fit in this system over the middle of the field, or even if you want to split him out wide sometimes in the offense as well. So I would definitely have interest in JuJu Smith-Schuster to add to this free agent, as a free agent going into the offseason. How much will it cost? Maybe it'll cost about $12, $13 million for a guy like JuJu, depending on how his price is going to be. Would you be willing to pay that for a guy like JuJu? I would. Depending on what we do otherwise in free agency, if we aren't able to go the trade route and we do decide to maybe look at some of these free agent wide receivers, I think JuJu would actually be an excellent fit on this team. I do. In the middle of the field, as a guy that can help out your quarterback, Daniel Jones. I do believe that JuJu Smith-Schuster should be a guy the Giants should look at in free agency. Out of all the wide receivers that are going to be free agents this year, if he doesn't re-up with Kansas City, JuJu Smith-Schuster would be my target to look at in free agency this year. He's gotten it done a lot in his career. He's a very good number 2 wide receiver, low-end number 1, and I would definitely have interest in potentially signing him this offseason if the Giants do end up pursuing him in free agency when the league year starts on March 15th. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you think about JuJu Smith-Schuster, and if you think the Giants should have any interest in signing the former Pittsburgh Steeler and current Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver. 6'1", 215, second-round pick back in 2017, pick number 62 by the Pittsburgh Steelers out of USC. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and sub up to NYG Jeffy T85 for more breaking news, updates, and chatter around the New York Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And like I mentioned, you guys let me know in the comment section if you would sign JuJu Smith-Schuster this offseason to add to this wide receiver course, which we can argue might not be here in this year, and unless you'd rather go through the draft or you'd rather go through the trade route to upgrade the wide receiver core going into 2023. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Take it easy, and as always, let's go New York Football Giants. Together Blue, everyone.